Hi there, how you doing? Welcome to part 3 of the Inter Milan portion of the MyCareer save here on Football Manager 2024. My name is Stu, thank you for joining me in today's video. Remember, this is not just the Inter Milan portion, it's the final portion of this save. It's Club 6, and we're going to see what we can do in ideally 2 seasons, maybe just 1, depending on when FM26 comes out, but we're going to see what we can do. And in today's video, it's all about, first of all, Serie A, but also about the Europa League as well. We're going to have our first on-camera Europa League game because, you know, I picked a club that wasn't in the Champions League without realising it because they gave me a £200 million budget. What you going to do? But it is going to be against PSV, but before that, we're away against Lazio. How hard can it be? So since you will ask with me, how have we been doing? Well, I can't tell you just how well it's been going because it's been going delightfully. We've not dropped any kind of points. We've not lost any kind of game. It's a 100% record in the truest form. We have conceded goals, but then we've also gone through periods where we've not conceded. For example, there was a run of 4 games where we conceded 1 goal per game, and then we're currently on a run of games where we haven't conceded a goal in 4 games. And before that, there was a run where we didn't concede 4, and then it was a bit iffy here and there. But we have basically just been relentless, and it's been glorious, which means the table is currently looking like that. 39 points from 13 games. As I said, 100% record. Best goal scored in the league. Joint best, it would be said, by Juventus. They're also doing very well. But look at that defence. That defence is the bedrock of this team, despite the attacking talent we have at our disposal. Urbig is an absolute rock. The other defenders are doing their jobs really, really well. And to top it all off, we've got Samini and Espinosa and Gonçalves. So I can't really say much more than that. It's really, really good. And we've still not had an offer for Varane from Manchester City, but they are still courting him in the media. So, you know, we need to keep an eye out for that. We obviously don't want to lose him, but if a good offer comes in, you never know. It could be put to some really, really good use. But today, we're going to be starting off with the game, as mentioned, against Lazio. And this is the 11, which I'm sure, by the way, it said that it was an away game. But it's not. It's a home game. Home now. I'm sure on this home screen, Serie A, I was looking at that instead of that. There we go. So it's actually at home. Ignore me. I tell lies every now and then. But this is the 11 that we're going to be using. It is going to be Urbig in goal, Vasconcelos, Laskowski, Kabasi, and Nayar in defence. We then got Varane and Tenas in the midfield with Gonçalves, Gula, and Espinosa supporting Zilli up front. Things that have changed since the last time you were with us. Number 1, Samini's just come back from an injury. Really annoying. He would have started today, but do you know what? It's probably good that he has a game off, so I'm not too mad about it. But look, just what a season this guy is having. I mean, he's green in every competition he's played in, including European competitions. He's got 11 in 11, 8 of those being starts. Assists haven't been very big, but to be honest with you, if he's scoring at that rate, I'm not that bothered about the assist side of things. I'm quite happy with him just to bulldoze things, to be honest with you. What really annoys me is we had the goal 50 best players in the world. Not one of our players was on it. I feel like next season he's going to be on it if he continues having the season that he's currently having, because he's having a ridiculous season at the moment and I am absolutely loving it. It's fantastic. So yeah, waffled on long enough. Let's get into the game and let's see how things go. But if you are excited to see how we do today, whether we can win against both Lazio and PSV Eindhoven, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me and hit that subscribe button as well. It is completely free to do so. And you'll put a big smile on this face right here and keep up to date with all the nonsense that just randomly spews out of it as well, which is on the regular. Right, Lazio. I've actually completely forgotten where they are in the league. They're not necessarily doing too badly. Oh, by the way, the other thing I was going to mention, Zilli playing as a deep line forward today, purely because Charles doesn't like big games, and I don't know whether this classes as a big game or not, because Lazio are a big team in Italy. So I haven't missed it. They're 4th, so you know they're 11 points behind us at the moment because of how good a start we've had. But they are a dangerous team. They are in the top echelon of Italian football at the moment. I put Zilli as deep line forward because he plays so well as a playmaker. I just want to try and get that from him in a forward role, and I'm hoping that Gula can just support him quite well, as to can the wingers. But obviously, normally we'd have Samini, who would be cutting on the inside, whereas today 2 out and out winger, so I don't know whether Zilly is going to have the best of games. Not necessarily because of what he does, but I don't know if he'll have the support around him. So it'll be interesting to see what our goal scoring is like in this game, because it does have to be said, I mean, he does bail us out every now and then. Now, I've actually, as I'm talking about it, I've had a bit of buyer's remorse on that role change. So I'm going to change Zilly back to an advanced forward, because Gula is going to be trying to supply him, but Zilly's going to be dropping deep to try and get the ball to try and do the same thing. Now, as it stands, this first half has been quite uneventful until now. We have a corner, whipped in, Kabasi's there, Tenas was there to try and flick it in as well. Doesn't end up happening, and now all of a sudden there's a counter-attack here by Lazio. We are getting numbers back. They do have to go backwards, and the only highlight of the half so far ends up with nothing happening. Although we do have another one in the 44th minute. Pavlovic for Lazio, getting it forward, and they start things off here. Now, can we mug them of the ball? We can do it. Zilly actually with the ball now. Gets it into Ardagula. Ardagula in the box on his own. Captain Fantastic makes it 1-0. Zilly with the assist. Zilly's an advanced forward when he plays as a striker. What I think we need to do, well, there's just 2 things that we need to do. Thing number 1. Well, one of 2 things we need to do. We either need to sign a striker to be a rotation option with Charles, or that Charles can be the backup for, that we can have 2 strikers to rotate between, because I think Zilly has to be an attacking player, not as a striker. Whether that's wing, whether that's attacking midfield, whatever. Gula can also play on the wing, so there's that as an option as well. Or, this is the more controversial one, and I have actually tried it out in 1 game. 2 games, actually. We changed Samini to be a striker. And I'm not against that, and I mentioned that when we signed him. I don't know whether I do want to fully commit to that, but I wouldn't be against exploring the opportunity. We might, depending on what happens in the PSV game, we might give it a go in that game and just see how he does. I'll just tell them, let's carry on doing what they're doing. It's only the 1 goal up, so we don't want to take it for granted, but we are a goal to the good. Let's see whether we can go and get a second one. The first highlight does start with Lazio with the ball. Well, this is how our goal came to be. We just ended up pressing them out of possession. Let's see whether we can do the same thing here, or whether they're actually going to be able to get forward here. Oh no, they've made another mistake, and Zilly's forward. And Zilly, I tell you what, I've said, do we need to get another striker? We might not need to. Zilly's kind of proven me a little bit wrong here. Him and Gula putting the work in today. There isn't technically an assist here from anyone. It is all Zilly's work. And it's another unforced error that Lazio have gifted us here. So we're not even needing to go full pelt in this game. Lazio are doing the work for us. Sounds like a them problem to me. Sounds very much like a them problem. Now, what we do need to do is just not get too complacent. You know my feelings if you've watched the channel before on the 2-0 scoreline. It's a dangerous scoreline to have. You can lull yourself into a false sense of security. I've made another mistake here. Gula, tell you what, they're making a lot of defensive errors. And if I was the goalkeeper, well, if I was the goalkeeper, I'd probably get another job. If I was the manager, I'd be making sweeping changes at this point, because they cannot sustainably keep things as they are. They really can't. It's taken me off the point that I was making, but either way, I'm very happy with how things are going. Right, deep free kick with Gula into Kabasi, back to Espinoza. Espinoza now, been quietly going about his business on the wing, goes for a shot there, forces a corner. We are a little bit lethal with the old set piece. Let's see whether we can find someone. My money's on Kabasi. See if we can find his head and make it 3. No. That is why I don't play any kind of betting or lottery or things like that. My luck ain't that good. Right, that's the wrong button, Stu. What are you doing? Right, let's make some changes and just freshen things up a bit. Gula's played quite well. I'm going to bring on Charles. We're 3-0 up. 2-0 up, rather. That was wishful thinking. We're 2-0 up. Let's do that. So that's not had the best of games as the half-back today, so I'm going to bring on Marcotta, who has had a decent season so far, actually. So quite happy to bring him on and get him some minutes. I haven't really played Taquito. I probably should bring him on in some way, shape or form. Do you know what? I think it's 2-0 up. We'll rest Zilly. I'll bring Taquito on and give him a decent amount of time. And then I'm looking at Gagliardi and just thinking, he's not a very good player. But I am just thinking, do we bring him on? Just get him a few minutes under his belt, so we don't have this yellow card. I might do that a little bit later on. I'm a bit concerned about that. But I'm also looking at Verlaine and his fitness levels. but we'll leave everything else for the time being. We'll just stick with those three. Charles and Takita, get them some football. Charles has scored a decent amount of goals so far this season. He does go anonymous for the occasional game, but again, he doesn't like those big games, so it's sort of to be expected. Inter have had their first shot, by the way. Sorry, Inter. Lazio have had their first shot. We're Inter, Stu. Remember what club you're managing. Makata's come straight on the pitch, by the way, and just put in a 7 rating straight away. Like, genuinely, I think he's going to be our defensive midfield signing next season. I'm pretty confident that we're going to look to do that because he's been pretty solid so far. Right, my final change. Verlaine, I think, is going to come off. He's actually worked himself. Well, he was having a good game anyway, actually. It was Tenassi, wasn't. But we'll bring Cordoba on. Cordoba did have a good international break. Scored a goal, actually. We had in our email inbox. So, obviously doing quite well. But we'll make that change. It is a corner. Well, it was a corner to Lazio and it's gone. They're actually ending the second half quite strongly. But I think it's probably too little too late for them as we approach the 90th minute here. And I think we've done more than enough to get us over the line here. That should be full time. That is full time. There we go. There we go. 2-0. Gula and Zilli. I mean, Zilli shut me up there, didn't he? He really did. Zilli really shut me up there. Good performance from him. Really happy to see it. We stay top. 42 points from 42. A goal difference of plus 34. We're walking the league at the moment. We really are. And I'm happy to see it. I mean, it's one of those where you kind of look at it and you just think, the squad was really good anyway, so I'm a bit confused as to why they've not been walking the league if they've had this group of players for a little while, but there's going to be reasons to it. Maybe they played, well, they did play a different system. They played a diamond when they have quality. I say they played a diamond. I don't know for a fact whether they did. What did they do last season? 4-3-3. So they played 4-3-3, but it'll only tell me from the halfway point. It won't tell me before that, which I find quite interesting. Okay, so they did play a slightly different formation, and you can see Gula got a few goals here. Gabby scored here and there. Shaquille Van Persie scored every now and then as well. Zilli's name does crop up every now and then, but not that many times. And Takita, you don't see his name very often. I think Takita's probably gone in January. I mean, I was mentioning about another striker. I didn't for one moment when I was talking about that mention Takita's name. That tells you everything you need to know. Right, 5 days time, we've got PSV. It is going to be in Eindhoven, so let's get forward and let's see how we do in that one. Just to confirm before we get to that though, how the Europa League is currently doing. We're currently top, just like we are in the league. Shaping up to be a pretty good season so far. Okay, so we don't actually have the Eredivisie loaded in this save, so I'm just having a quick look just to see how things have been going for them. Again, I can't really see that much about it. It doesn't even tell me. I don't even think I've got this like loaded in any kind of way. So you can see there's very little here. It looks like they've only actually won the Eredivisie once since the save has started. Maybe technically that one as well. But yeah, 25-26 they last won it. They finished second last year and a few seasons ago as well. But it has been Ajax's World and for one season Feyenoord's 2. So there's still going to be a challenge. It is still a tough European game, but we should be winning this. Even though we're away from home, we should be not walking away with this necessarily, but we definitely should be not sweating too much regarding getting a win here. So let's see whether we can do that. So the 11 we're going to go with, as always, it's Urbig in goal. Then we've got Trigos, Laskowski, Silva and Najar in defence. I know I do change his name from Najar to Nayar sometimes. Deal with it. Flammarion, I should really call him that because it's an excellent name. Cordoba and Tenas are in the middle with Samini, Zilli and Campanella rather, supporting Charles up front. So Charles will start today. We're giving Samini a go back in the team. Tenas keeps his place. I was going to have Verlaine and Marcotta start, but I'm going to go with these two just so they can hopefully play themselves into a bit of form. We've got the backups should we need them. So let's get into the game. Let's see whether we can get another 3 points in this Europa League campaign, which we should be winning. I haven't won a Europa League, I don't think, in this save yet because we've not had the opportunity to play in it. We've just done really, really well. I think Wolves was the only chance we really had. And we did so well when we first got there that we almost went straight to the Champions League. So, you know, it'll be nice to add this to the collection. Wasn't on the bingo card of things we needed to get, but it's a nice little bonus. So, fingers crossed we can do that. Now, let's see whether we can get things going here very early on and just carry on. Where are PSV? They're in the middle of the like the playoff zone. So they will be looking to try and get a victory to head more towards the automatic qualification places. Stamini, by the way, no right to be doing a tackle of that quality, but just does it anyway. Wonderful stuff, and that's given us the ball, so we can now try and come forward and make something happen. Tenas now. I mean, he hit the roof of the net, so I'm not too mad at it, but, you know, sir, you're a halfback. You're not really meant to be looking to score. Equally, I'm not mad at the attempt. It wasn't a bad attempt, but it does remain 0-0. We are all over them. We are letting them have a bit of possession, but it looks like we're letting them have it so we can then get the ball and run up and try and counter-attack them. I don't mind that. I really don't mind us doing that as long as we don't have any massive defensive lapses. What I'd love is if we just press them off the ball like we did with Lazio. That would be incredible if we could do that again. Right, Vandenberg getting it forward. Passing it around nicely here, but it is mainly around their defence, which is waiting for a defensive mistake to happen, and we are very good at exploiting those. Campanella now has the ball from Samini out wide to Flammarion Najar. Najar waiting for the right moment to cross. Instead goes back to Tenas into Campanella, floats it to Samini. Can't quite get his head on it. The keeper does end up coming out. We have scored a few goals with Samini in that exact manner. The forward line are struggling a little bit to get going. It's fine. It is still early days, only 20 minutes in. And we intercept the ball right there. Charles now with the ball has an opportunity to get a goal on camera, and he does. I can't remember if he's already scored a goal on camera, but if he hasn't, he has now. And Michael Charles, this is definitely not classed as a big game in the nicest possible way, because he's gone and put it in the back of the net in the 20th minute and makes it 1-0. And again, similarly to the Lazio game, we are just so good at forcing defences into making mistakes. And I've not had a team quite like this on FM24 that's been that good at it. Not at Villa, not at Deportivo, not at any of the clubs in this save, including Wolves, Arsenal and Bayern Munich. We just seem to be relentless, and I really... Do you know what? We've waited until the final club of the save. This might be my favourite team. I've got an emotional connection to the Wolves team that we put together because that team had some really special players in there. Zilli really should be burying that, but it is going to be a corner. That team had no right to do as well as it did, but not only was it excellent, it's remained excellent as time has gone on. It's still regularly Champions League quality, challenging for the Premier League. By the way, Leicester in the Europa League, respect to Leicester, they've had a madness. But yeah, that Wolves team is incredible. But in terms of quality, in terms of the actual quality of the team, I feel like this team, at its strongest 11, might be pound for pound better than the Arsenal, Wolves and Bayern Munich teams that we put together, which were no slouches. The biggest problem with the Bayern Munich team was the defence. The defence weren't bad, but they had a bit of flakiness to them. Again, an interception here, and I'm really here for it. Charles coming through, looking to get a goal. He should have held off there. There's just a bit of a flakiness to that Bayern defence, and it would have just spent would cost too much money for us to spend on fixing it. Whereas here we had the money. We had the money to bring in a couple of defenders. We've done that. It already had a decent defence anyway, so we didn't have to do that much work. And the attack feels a little bit more predictable. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean in that it performs well and we don't have to worry too much about it. Apologies for the pause there. I had a bit of a cough. I've completely forgotten what I was talking about, but I think it was how good this team is compared to all of the other ones, and it really is. Really, really happy with it. Andre Silva, however, has not had a good game today. Neither really is Laskowski, so we'll keep an eye on both of those and tell them to do better. I was expecting a bit more from Samini as well, but it's about time he had a bad game on camera. He has just come back from that injury as well, so I'll let him have a little bit of an off day today. That is completely allowed, but we'll go in and we'll just see whether we can do a bit more, get a second goal just to completely finish this game off. We don't need to come out of first gear really for this one so far, but then again, we don't really want to leave it to chance. So if we can get that goal just to fully settle things down, I will be really happy. But we're going to be making a defensive change. We're a little bit worried about the centre-backs. They're not having a great game. They are starting to come into it a little bit momentum-wise, PSV, and I don't really like that fact. Now, I am going to go attacking. I shall try and force the issue a little bit. I'm going to take off Silva for Kabasi, because Laskowski looks like he's playing himself into a bit of form. Stamini really hasn't had a good one. Gonçalves has been playing quite well recently, so I think I'll bring him on. I could bring on Gula, to be fair. I've not tried Gula out on the wing, and he could do a decent job there. I'd probably want to play him as an inverted winger more than anything. Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring him on as an inverted winger. Get him and Zilly into the 11. Because, you know, if we end up playing Samini as a forward, it's a way to get Zilly into the team as well. So let's do that. And let's just see how that goes and go attacking as well. Let's just try and force the issue a bit more, because we are letting them have a bit more momentum in this half. Let's just try and force it and get another goal. That'd be nice. Right, it's a free kick to PSV, which is a bit of a concern. Urbig does really well to grab onto the ball, though, and it is going to be us with possession, trying to build up for a second goal. Now, let's see whether we can do it. He's launched it forward, actually. It's not something he really does very often. I thought Charles had intercepted well there. He hasn't. Right. Now what do? Ball coming forward from PSV, but Kabasi intercepts, gets it to Charles, and now we have the chance here. Zilly running forward, waiting for the run for Charles. What a splitting pass that is, and Charles has got to finish that, and he does, and makes it 2-0. That's the opportunity we were waiting for. And again, sometimes we just like to sit back, wait for a team to make a mistake, or get the ball and run up the other end and score. It can be risky, but it's not caught us out so far yet, and it's done really well. Don't get me wrong, some games you've seen, we're just all over opposition from the minute go, and we just don't let them have a chance. Sometimes we let them have the occasional chance. We let them come forward. We let them get into kind of the edge of the final third, and then we just brick wall them at that point, and they just can't get past us. And that was a moment of beauty. It really was. I'm really, really happy with that. Right, I'm looking purely at fitness now in terms of changes. Trigos has had a good game returning from injury. Vasconcelos will come on just to finish the game off, though. And I think I want to bring Zilly off, so I might bring on Takita. That's not really going to give us much of a chance to have Zilly and Gula playing up front all together. And then I think for my final trick, I would love to bring Niar off. I just don't trust it. So Campanella can come off for Espinosa. By the way, Tenas and Cordoba, really, really good performances today. Really happy with those in the middle. They have been that brick wall that stopped teams from getting past them, and I really enjoyed it. We have kind of headed off that little momentum shift in the middle of this half, and we have just done enough, I think, to see the game. Well, I say see the game out, quite comfortably see the game out. Because again, we haven't really had to shift into a high gear in this one. Ball's through to Charles. Is Charles about to get a hat-trick? Do you know what? I think it's going to get checked for offside. Do you know what? It's not getting checked for offside. It's just a hat-trick. Mikhail Charles with his first hat-trick for the club. We've got a good striker here. It just, I don't know how he's going to do in those bigger games. So I think we need to have a plan B for when we have those bigger games that's better than Zilly up front, because Zilly is a bit inconsistent as a forward. Good as an attacking midfielder, though. But it is 3-0. All 3 goals from Charles. The rest of the team have done what they needed to, although Laskowski's regressed a little bit, which is a shame. There's 2 assists from Zilly, by the way. He had a really good game as an attacking midfielder. So it just goes to show he is a very, very viable option there. What a ball that was from Gula, but couldn't make it anything happen with it. Ball out from Tenas to Gula, by the way. Gula does a really good job of keeping the ball here. He's going to go for shot, isn't he? And he's gone and scored it. And that makes me feel good about the idea of him playing as the winger if we do shift Samini over into the striker role. Which I'm still not 100% sure of, because, you know, he's had one good game there. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I tell you what, some strength from Gula there. Has decided to do it all himself. I tell you what, we are blessed with an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the forward line. Every part of this squad, the defence is solid, the midfield is tough, the attacking midfield is just out of this world. Striker's the only area that's maybe questionable, but our striker who doesn't like big games has just scored a hat-trick in the Europa League. So what's not to love? What is not to love? And that means we are going to maintain our top spot point. No one can catch us in terms of this round because everyone's played. We have a 2-point gap, a massive goal difference gap as well. I mean, it's more or less job done at this point. We've already got a playoff spot. We're in November. We're more or less job done. And there is, I'm pretty sure, Mikhail Charles' first hat-trick for the club. Yeah, he's got a bunch of braces here and there, but hasn't scored in a couple, gets a hat-trick. Really, really good to see it. And actually, I don't know, that I think was a friendly tip. No, that was Europe. That was Europe as well. I tell you what, he's playing quite well in Europe. I mean, we're in Europe, but you know what I mean. In Europa League, he's doing quite well. Well, that is exactly how I wanted things to go. Exactly how I wanted them to go. And that leaves us, first of all, in Serie A, as you already know, top 10 points clear with a game in hand, 100% record, only 5 goals conceded. Beautiful. And then in the Europa League, 5 games played, 5 games won, 100% record, 21 goals for, only the one against, plus difference of 20, 2-point gap. Beautiful. Going really, really well so far. And Charles is actually the top goal scorer in the league as well, because I have been putting him in this competition, and Urbig has got the most clean sheets as well. I think we've joined a special club here, and we've got a very special group of players, some of whom I've got contracts that put them on to ridiculous amounts of money, which I'm not overly thrilled about, by the way. I didn't mention that before. So that's the only drawback, is that they keep having their wages go up. Andre Silva should not be on that amount of money, by the way. Absolutely not. And also, I think it was Tenas has recently gone up as well because he played a game. One of the guys on 375,000 a week, they played a game and they went up to that point. So I don't really like the fact that that's happened. By the way, Nayar at some point is going to be asking for more money on £26,000 a week. So we do need to be prepared for that. Anyway, that's enough of me completely waffling on. Let's have a look. I think we already discussed what we're going to do for the next video, which is I'm going to just get through December. We'll come back at the beginning of January, somewhere in this region. Roma, potentially. That could be fun, because we didn't play against Roma at the beginning of the season. It was Napoli. Then Roma was the next game after. So let's play at the Stadio Olimpico against Roma. And then maybe we'll do this game, because it could be AC Milan. That could be interesting. So we'll see what happens. We also could do the Supercoppa semi-final against Juventus. We could do that, because that could also be a little bit of fun. So maybe we do 2 tough games in the next video. Either way, I'll have a think about it. We'll see what we do. And hopefully, while I don't think we're going to keep a 100% record for that much longer, hopefully we can carry on with the dominance that we've shown in both the league and Europe, and we can just win all the things, ready for one final crack at the Champions League in a quick-fire second season. That's the plan. I think it sounds like a good one. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, show me you like it, leave a comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and also, as always, don't forget to subscribe as well. I can't speak. My name is Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.